All right, so now we're gonna look at the games I had against Freddybabes. This was for the finals of the TEPPEN Ambassador Invitational Tournament, whatever you want to call it. So this is it. This was the finals. So I went ahead and decided to go with Ouroboros first because I banned his Wrath, and I was like, Uro's probably the best shot I'm gonna have here. So I figured, okay, let's go ahead and go with that. Unfortunately, as you can see, my hand is absolute garbage, right? I don't have a false throne. I don't have a big card. I just have some tyrants which can be stolen. So, big mistake I did make here. What I should have done is I should have played the tyrant as soon as the game started, because by the time the tyrant gets across the board, if he doesn't drop anything, it does 4 damage, right? That's something. I don't have anything, right? So regardless, I don't have a card to play. So I should have dropped Tyrant right at the start. And that was my mistake. So that's what I should have done. So instead, I wait. And I wait. And I wait. Waiting to see what he's gonna do. So because he plays that card at max, I know he's gonna be at 9 mana when I play this Tyrant, right? So I'm like, okay, play Tyrant right away. Play to the middle just in case he decides he wants to drop like a Tigrex on it. Plays Lupo up there, just in case, because I don't want my card stolen. Right? I don't want it stolen. I go to use the Mad Massacre. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to do anything else. Okay. So maybe I should have eaten my card. But I was confident enough. I was like, okay, maybe I'll just not eat it. Maybe I'll just get something I need. Went ahead for the block there. Unfortunately, I just barely missed that Tigrex timing. Oh, otherwise, it would have been perfect. Cat wants up. Would have been perfect. I didn't really have any options. Those were my plays, unfortunately. So now I get the pickle. But it's going to be a long time until I get anything. So, what I probably should have done was when I had the free mana, I should have taken advantage of it and just used the Selfish Predation. I should have probably used it because I didn't end up getting to use it anyway. Right, so I should have used it. So by the time I finally get the damn pickle...
Preparations complete.
Right, so I'm basically screwed at this point. I'm like, oh great, so now he's gonna get to transform his guy. I can't do anything about it. Terrible. Just absolutely nothing I could do.
Get what you deserve.
Just nothing I could do. My hope there was I was gonna be able to at least pull the Devil Joe. Get the heal off of it. And then I'll be able to play it again. But I had nothing in my hand. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't do anything. It sucked. Yeah, that game, I really just had no options, unfortunately. That's just kind of how it went. Come on, cat. We're going to go over here. I'll pay, apparently. Alright, be right back. I need to grab some water, guys. I feel like I'm choking to death over here. And I'm back. Okay. Alright, so that was the first game I had with Freddybabes. He just murdered me. I had a terrible hand. There was literally nothing I can do about it. So, knowing he could not play Morgan, which I don't like playing Rathalos against Morgan. It's a really bad matchup, I think, for Rathalos overall, with the skilled player. So I was like, alright, I can play Wrath now. So I felt confident playing Wrath against everything else he had, aside from Dante. But I banned his Dante, so he couldn't play it. So I felt that was the best choice here to play Wrath, and it did end up working out. He played Wesker, which is what I wanted to play against, because Wrath is is advantage against Wesker.
5 minutes. Make them count.
So that's what I want to hear. So I started with 1 layer in hand. So I actually did start with a good hand in a sense because I did just get buffs, right? I got a bunch of buffs and all that garbage. I go ahead and just decide to buff it the last second. I picked up a cat, thank goodness, right? I think here he decides to do nothing. Yeah. He decides to do nothing. Able to remove his card. And I'm able to get the cat on the field, which is nice. I kind of wanted to wait and make sure I could get the buff in time. Which is what I did. Because if he drops like a tyrant, I'm screwed. That cat is dead. Right? So I wanted to make sure of that. So he drops the Cerberus again, which is good. And now he's got the Dynamo. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and just buff the cat. Remove that Cerberus in 1 hit. Right, and I got another cat. Fantastic, right? I want to get that cat on the field. Get the cat on the field. Get him out there. So at this instance, I probably should have buffed the cat on the ball. I should have floated, used Wrath Awoken on the middle cat. That would have actually been the proper move there. That would have made me do a ton of damage at that moment. I would have done... at that time, I would have added 7 to my attack. Or, sorry, 3 to my attacks. That would have made me do 7 damage to the face. He'd be at 19 now instead. So that's what I should have done. Especially since... especially with Dynamo there. He wouldn't be able to kill my cat in 1 hit. Right? So now he would have to either play a card on the field... He wouldn't be able to do much. He wouldn't be able to do hardly anything. So I go ahead and go for the Reckless Charge. Figuring, okay, I'll see if I can take him out. Unfortunately, it does work out in his favor. So, and then I pretty much have to play Iris here. I don't have a choice. I could have played Maki, but I was like, you know what? Maki's going to be more valuable later on. So that's why I decided to save Maki. I was like, I have another Iris in hand. I don't need 2 on the board at once. Love that. It's the best part of the song. And then we just wait. We're just waiting. I can't do anything else. So I figured, okay, we're going to go ahead and drop that Iris. Get more mana ramp. Get that 50 boost. He drops a zombie, which is really good. And another zombie. So I was like, I need to get this layer. I need to get layer out there. Bam. Throw that layer up top, right? I'm like, I already know Iris. I'm like, Iris is gonna die. That's fine. I'm not even concerned, right? I really just want, I want to get some other units buffed up here. What I should have done there, really, is I probably should have used Sense of Duty instead. And here I made a mistake. So we saw each other's deck list beforehand, and in his deck he does not have a Murder of Spikes in this deck at all. So I should have remembered that, and I forgot. And so this is why I sat here and I was like, do I use anything? Because what if he has a Murder of Spikes and I lose that card in the middle that I want, right? And that was stupid as hell of me. I should have used Murder of Spikes. I should have used Sense of Duty, and I didn't. That was really dumb of me, because I forgot. I basically had forgotten. Or what I could have done was use, yeah, I basically didn't want to use anything. I was worried about that thing. So my plan here, which worked out perfectly, I knew this card was gonna get hit first, and I was like, I'm just gonna hit face with it, right? I'm not concerned with instantly, with killing him right away because I don't have the damage, right? So even if I go 16, that doesn't kill him. 16 doesn't kill, right? So I know I'm just gonna hit face, right? So, and he assumed I was gonna flight it for some reason. I don't know why, but he had his ability ready to go, and it allowed me to get the flight here. So I don't know what he thought. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea to do that there. Maybe he just mistimed it. I don't know. So that worked out. I do get a little greedy here because I try to go for the win. So I could have just done nothing, but I decided to go for the win. But because he uses Obliteration, which is fine, because now I can use State of Nothingness. With the shield, it's going to instantly kill that Wesker. And he gets that drop down right after. That was literally perfect. So that worked out extremely well for him. I'm able to get a shield here and flight him just to make sure my guy doesn't die, right? Bam. So that's why I used the shield there, because I was like, hey, if I use this one, I'm at Wrath Awoken. My hero art's up and I can finish it. So that's what I did. So I pretty much played that perfect, I think, aside from a few small things. Like I should have used Reckless Charge as soon as I could. Instead, I also should have, I think, used Wrath Awoken the first time over the second Dynamo he dropped, right? So that would have been optimal, I think, there. What else? What else? And then also just remembering that he had no Murder Spikes in his deck. That was another big one that I kind of failed at. So that was the first game I was able to win against him, so that worked out. And then the next matchup. Well, see, I forgot he didn't have Murderous Spikes, and so I was concerned about him playing a Murderous Spikes, but he didn't, obviously, because he doesn't have one in his deck. So then I decided to pick Wesker because I'm thinking maybe he's gonna swap to Ryu, and he did, and it worked out perfectly. So he swapped to Ryu. I had a decent hand. Couldn't really, it was, you know, pretty much what you want get against the Ryu. I go ahead and play Tyrant because that's a smart move.
Your struggles are futile.
So, you know, he pumps me up there, that's fine. Uses the lightning, that's fine, whatever. Not a big deal. But I got the false thrown out, and that's what I needed. I have rebirth, but I'm not going to get greedy. There's no reason to get greedy. So it's like I already know what's going to happen there. So now that he's out, and I know he's at max mana at this point too because of the cards he played, I want to get that card on the field. And that is the card that ends up coming up on the field, which is really good. So that worked out. Unfortunately, he didn't die right away. So we're left with this. But he's about to get blown up, which he does. And now he's got the Shinku ready to go. Gets it in time. So I'm kind of in a funky spot, but it's not over, right? Because I have Uro. All his cards are close to being dead. You know, nothing super scary by any means, right?
I'll hold nothing back.
So he decides to play that. I'm like, okay, I'll eat him. He's like, I'm gonna do that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kill your lady. Because lady's a pain in the ass to deal with. So I was getting what I needed to remove her was fantastic. Now, because of that, I now have Ouroboros that I can use. Now, my goal here was to get Ouroboros at the top, where the ostrich is, so I get my double Joe up there. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Either that or in the middle. Didn't happen. It went to the worst spot that I did not want. It went to the bottom. So I did not want it there. But I'm able to play the Tyrant up top again. Really useful card, especially up there. Okay. So he's gonna lose a guy because he needs to defend there. And now I can just kind of really just start going crazy a little bit, you know? I figured I'd play that card because it's not going to hurt me to do so. And now I got the Tyrant. So that was really big there. There's not a whole lot to say about this game. It's pretty straightforward for the most part. Hey Zol, what's going on? So he goes ahead and uses that. I have a free rebirth I can get out now, which is great. So I was just like, I was basically just thinking, please don't play the card I don't want. Unfortunately, it does kind of play. It plays that one, which is good. That's the card I want to get out more than any other card. That's the best card he could have put out there. The best one. I figured, you know, screw it. I'm going to eat him. Doing so gave me the Tyrant that I need. 4-9 Tyrant, just absolutely just... Ryu doesn't have a way to deal with it. Even a lady can't deal with the 4-9 Tyrant. She just can't. So with all the other Tyrants and everything else I got on the board, There's so much health there. There's 18 health on the board. And at that point, he has like 2-3 mana. He's just, there's nothing he can play that's going to be able to deal with it. Which is why he's surrendered. So at that point, I was now 2 games to 1. I needed to win 1 more match. So now I can't use Wesker and I can't use Wrath. So he just played Ryu. So I figured what I would do is I'd go to the Ryu. Maybe I figured that maybe he'll play Ryu. Maybe I can pull a Ryu mirror match and I can just win. This was probably the most intense match we had, for sure. So I went ahead and I decided to go ahead and drop the ostrich right away. Figured that was the best play. Right here, though, I possibly should have dropped Axel right away, but I guess it doesn't matter, really, you know. So I went ahead and waited, and this worked out for me here because at this point, I think, yeah, he's up a tiny bit on me. I really wanted to get the BB hood out there to remove it, but I just didn't have the mana, so I had to drop the Laggy Cruise. Unfortunately, he drops the guy, and the guy takes 2 of the damage. I needed the guy to take 1 damage. That would have been perfect. Would have been perfect, right? But then this works out for me. Right? So this works out, literally could not have been any better. And this puts me in a huge advantage. Because being down a unit, but not just a unit, but as you see now, 2 units is gigantic. And a Ryu mirror match, huge. It's huge because if he doesn't, he's just not gonna have the cards in time, and or he has to blow a Shinku Hadouken, right? So those are basically his options. So I go ahead and I drop the BB hood because I know that's my best option. So now I'm up 2-6. So this is where it gets really bad though, because in that situation, it might have been better for me to just play something else potentially. But or maybe use Shinku Hadouken. This is where it gets kind of hairy, because maybe playing Shinku Hadouken there was the better move, right? Since I'm ahead, and he doesn't want to use a Shinku on an Axel. And what if he doesn't have an Axel to play, right? Or what if he doesn't have a way to deal with it? So he plays the Shinku there. And then he drops a guy. So the fact that he had the guy left really hurt me. So there I made a mistake. Very big one. 2 things. I could have removed I could have Shinku Hadouken the guy, which would have been massive. And when I played this, I should have prepared. I didn't think he was going to have the mana at all to drop something. I didn't think he would for some reason. I should have tried to Shinku Hadouken if anything dropped in front of here, and I didn't. Because had that happened, he would actually still be at 2-4. He would be at 20 health, and I would, yeah. So basically, he'd be 2-4, and I'd be at 20 health. Now I have the Shinku Hadouken, which really, I don't want to use on either of these guys. So that was really, really unfortunate for me. Extremely. Like, that was just bad, right? So then that card he used just now wouldn't have been able to kill me. Because when he used that, he was at 2 mana. Meaning when that card got used, he didn't have the mana to do anything. He didn't have a BB hood he could have dropped in time, right? So it put me in a terrible position. So here, what I should have done, this was my mistake. I think what I should have done here is I should have used Shinku Hadouken on the Laggy Cruise, and I should have dropped Kieran in front of Guy. I think that was the correct move to do. That way, in case he doesn't drop anything that can kill Kieran right away, they take damage. Right? They take 3 damage. And I shouldn't have done that. So I made a massive oversight. So that was a big misplay by me. I just, for some reason, I didn't think about it. And I should have played Kieran in that situation. See how he has Guy? If he drops Guy in front of Kieran, if he decides not to Shinku Kieran, that works out fine. So that would have been better, because think of what happened here. If I remove Shinku Hadouken, which I used anyway, I removed the Laggy Cruise. I'm spending 1 less mana to get Kieran out than Lady, so I'd actually be at over. I would have been able to get my Ryu out if I needed to, right? A lot sooner. And I would have removed both cards on the board and taken far less damage. I made a huge mistake there. Huge mistake. And that pretty much cost me the game. I think that was the moment that cost me the game, because that was the optimal play in that situation, and I didn't make it. That's what I should have done. Instead, I had to deal with the lady on the board, and that's not what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see a lady on the board. So that hurt a lot. So, you know, tuna with bacon, all that jazz. I decided to do that. I felt like I had no other option, and I was like, I can't take another hit. I just can't. Right? And my Ryu right now only has 1 action that's been used. He gets 2 hits in, but then his Ryu can just go for free. Right? So that's bad.
It's time.
And then he has face abilities, which again sucks.
Can't afford to doubt myself.
Again, not good. So we're both at 1 mana. So again, another oversight by me here. Because I really don't have any cards in my hand, I should have just played Axel as soon as I could, and I didn't. That's what I should have done, and I did not. I should have played Axel as soon as I could. That would have been the correct move. And I didn't make it. I did not make that move. That's the move I should have made. So it allows him to go up and gain the mana he needs to hit me with that for free, more or less. So that was a bad move by me. I should have played Axel as soon as I could, and I didn't. So another mistake by me. So he plays that. Again here, what I probably should have done to get cards out of my hand was play the BB Hood right in front, right before it hits me. Not even the BB Hood. I could have played the little 4-cost guy, and the BB Hood would have been dead. And I didn't. So I made another misplay there. Another misplay. And so it was a big deal. So I made too many misplays. Is what happened in this matchup. I couldn't afford to let him hit me. Gotta remove that card off the field. But at this point, being down 5 mana, it's really bad. So the fact that he's played, what, 2 or 3 burn cards, and I'm actually pretty much right on top of him in terms of, like, health and everything, means I'm actually, like, making decent trades. But I made looking back at it now, there were definitely some plays I could have changed. Definitely some plays. Because I shouldn't even be having these 4-cost units in my hand. There should have been times I would have used them. Right, so he plays that, so I'm thinking, okay. I was like, I know we're both at maximum high-ass amount of mana. Right, so I'm like, I gotta remove it. So then here, I'm like, okay. I should have just played my guy. I was waiting for him to play something, and then he's got that. I'm like, oh, fantastic. I was like, I can't do anything. I have Dragon Lord's Judgment, but it's not going to get me out of the situation. It doesn't do enough damage. I was like, okay, I can do that, right? So it sucked. And I play this because I know that Axel, I gotta get rid of that Axel, right? He doesn't play anything in response, unfortunately. He knows I need to get rid of that Axel. So, and it's too late. There's just nothing I can do. So there were a couple of things I should have done different there. And I just didn't. I had the advantage at the beginning of the game. I had a really good split at one point against defensively. And I messed up on capitalizing on it. And I lost that one. I shouldn't have lost that match. I should have won that match, and I misplayed, and that was my fault. So, knowing that he had nothing left but a Wesker and a Dante, I knew, statistically speaking, for the win, Dante was going to be the best option on who to play or who to use, because if he plays Wesker, Dante is favored, which is what happens. If he plays Dante, we're even, right? So if I play Ryu, I'm unfavored against Wesker, but I'm favored against Dante. So I'm like, I think I'd rather just play Dante and try to get the even match. So this works out really well here. So he drops the Tyrant, and that's perfect because it's a 4-cost unit and it's 4/1. So I can actually drop my 3-cost to 5 Ada in front of it, and I can get that stealth that I need really badly, and also be at 1 mana lower than him and still have a unit on the board. Huge, gigantic, massive. I needed that. That was just huge. That's exactly what I needed. So here, recognizing that he played this, at this case right here, this together is 9 mana. The 2 he just played here is at 8 mana. So that, I know right now he's only 1 mana ahead of me. He only has 1 mana, essentially, right? So whatever mana I'm at, he's only 1 more than I am. So right now, he's at 3. There's nothing he can play at 3 that can kill this. Nothing, right? But now he's at 4. Now I know, okay, he can play this. He can play a Dynamo. Speaking of Dynamo, it's his song. He can play whatever he wants. So, very cheekily, I play Stealth at the last moment, and I get Stealth in there. Huge play. Massive play. I knew that was going to be key. So he goes ahead and does that. I add Flight to his Dynamo because now the units are just never going to interact ever, even if there's a fire.
What's the matter? Got you running scared?
So he wants to get rid of that Dynamo because basically he needs to heal, right? He needs to make sure he doesn't die. However, I do some math here in my head and I realize, okay, if he doesn't have another one, and I play the Hidden Intent, that moves me up to 6. I can, in 3 hits, without him healing, I can kill him. And after this is all said and done, he has 0 MP, right? So that means I can get in 3 hits before he can get 6 MP, even 5 MP probably. And so I'm going to be at a huge advantage here. So, he's trying to get rid of that card. He knows that card's just going to be a trouble for him. So I can just kind of do what I want. Hit him. And that's it. He knows he doesn't have anything in his hand. I did the math. It worked out perfectly. And I won the finals. So, that one, I played it perfectly. There was nothing better I could have done about that. That was perfectly played. Everything was spot on. That was perfect playing on that one. So it doesn't get any better.